So let's continue. A topic that I had already worked on for a while, but somehow hadn't dared to tackle yet, or rather, the last time I wasn't feeling well, so I had to stop recording podcasts. I actually had problems with my vestibular system. And while editing the videos, I also thought I was seeing the full picture. I hope it's well. I saw it, but I believe no one else did because that's something individual again. What I wanted to say is a topic that I have been working on for a while, namely slut. And slut is a term in sexual orientation and within BDSM according to the definition. And a slut refers to a being. And here we are again, gender neutral, because it's about the expression of it. A person who allows almost anything to be done to them sexually corrupts themselves, dirty games, and willingly gives themselves over spontaneously. I have only written it down in bullet points now for myself in my smart little book, and that's why my eyes wander down there. And live it out detached from societal opinion. I just recorded the podcast for People in Courage. This is a related topic for me because it naturally also involves courage as we find ourselves outside societal conventions or what people would consider acceptable on average. If you Google slut in the definition as a sexual orientation, there are beings who can identify with it. And the epitome of a slut, and I don't mean this in relation to women, for me is Lisa Rocketcock. If you want to find a connection to, because our brain works with images and not just with definitions. We gain access much faster when we have something tangible in front of us and say, all right, now I understand, or now I can categorize it. Lisa Rocketcock is a German tattoo model and porn actress. You can just Google her. When you watch her videos, for me, in terms of dynamics, not as her person, but in the dynamics of what she embodies, she is the epitome of a slut. She also names some videos Broken Slut. She gives herself exactly to what the definition is. Diverse, open. It's enough that you ask her. And it can lead to sex. And she just lives it out. Of course, if I were to speak from a female perspective, many women might not identify with it because they think, oh God, that's the opposite of what I can identify with. I can understand that because in diversity, or conversely, in quantity, it is not the desire that many of us have to allow so many different sexual partners to come close to our bodies. What I find very enviable or very good is that we can adopt for our own sexual behavior in our own relationships how easy it is to get in touch, how spontaneous it is, how unplanned it is to simply give in to one's own desires again. These women are anything but lacking in self-confidence. They have that for themselves. They can embody that for themselves. And there we are again with courage. I have chosen a sexual identity or a sexual orientation that I have developed and cultivated over the years. And I embody it 100%. And it's not about judging whether it's good or bad, but the fact itself, being able to embody it, is already a personal development. And that is always with for me, it always has something to do with courage. Because it's not about the form, but about being authentic. What is done being a slut, but is how authentic it is to live as a slut, to fill it with content and bring it into coherence. In living it out between inside and outside. So in living it out and also standing by it 100% and having it reflected in behavior. What I also want to get at is if you Google slut or Lisa Rocketcock, don't get too caught up in the actual images, but observe the behavior. Observe it. If it resonates with you, observe how she moves, observe how the interaction is. So moving away from all this lustful stuff towards what are you actually observing and gaining access. And for me, it is the epitome of slut. And slut has a fixed definition, or it does. If you ever come across someone in the kinky scene and you read slut on their collar, whether male or female, then you know this person is very sexually open-minded. It can happen if you approach them and say, I want to have physical contact with you in the lustful area, that this person simply says, yes, okay, right now, what can I do for you? Let's do it. So, and you should seriously consider this because it happens. These people are open to it. They want to spontaneously live out their desires. They are open to having sexual contact with you. So that's also amazing, I think, that there is this colorful diversity. What closed couples or what women can take away who do not want to indulge in such a variety of beings in terms of quantity, or what is this openness, this spontaneity, this ease of coming into contact to also bring back into one's own relationship. And Schmidbauer calls it a new perspective for couples, namely animalistic and narcissistic love. That it would be nice, again, the animalistic feelings are oriented towards pleasure and displeasure. And what the sluts demonstrate to us is a wonderful quality of desire. I feel like engaging in sexual contact with this person right now, otherwise they wouldn't do it. And this entry EI into desire, we simply feel like it right now. Not to overlay it with things like, I first have to do the laundry, and I have to do this, and I have to do that, but rather to find one's way back to animalistic desire in one's own partnership and to say, okay, do I feel like it right now? And also forget everything for a moment and allow myself to engage again with my partner, with my partners. To indulge a bit more in the animalistic principle of desire within one's own partnership. We don't have to live this out with 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 strangers if one doesn't want to, whether men or women. But the access, this naturalness, I almost said, this spontaneous access to one's own desire. What sluts exemplify for us, in eine pure form, the dynamic of access, of approaching each other so that sexuality can even occur, this building block. We could very well, or each of us could check again, how far we are still able to engage so uncomplicatedly, so spontaneously, so impartially. In the end, it is also an incredible impartiality to surrender to our own desire and the desire with the person we are currently in the room with. And for couples who have, of course, been in a relationship for a long time, to explore that again for themselves and to say, hey, how spontaneous can we actually still be with each other? What can we actually learn from the sluts who exemplify this presence? Learn, in this sense, all the best. Once for those who have cultivated it and live and embody it as sluts, and once for those who want to embrace the slut aspect of spontaneity, of surrender, of the naughty, of letting everything happen to them in their own relationship again. So nothing other than the animalistic, in the desire, the animalistic desire, wanting to cultivate it again in their own partnership. In this sense,